How can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs this Saturday, 12 o'clock on ABC? I'm going to talk about that and more in just a second. Welcome to the channel. I'm Brian. I'm glad you're here. We're 2 days away from kickoff. How many people remembers when it was like 100 days away? Me, I do. But if you're anything like me, God help you if you are, you're ready. You're ready for this. And in fact, tonight, college football Week 1 kicks off in full swing. We have games like Jacksonville State and Coastal Carolina. I bring that up because I'm in the Carolinas. Of course, Minnesota and North Carolina, North Dakota State, and Colorado. It's going to be a fun evening. So I'm glad we're here. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing, because I talk college football here. I talk about my Tigers, but I do talk about other teams as well. And drop me a comment and let me know that you are here. So let's dive right in. As of right now, if you look at ESPN, you're going to see that Clemson is still a 13.5-point favorite to the Bulldogs. And in the little matchup predictor, Georgia is an 82.4%, or has an 82.4% chance of winning this ball game. Now, if you talk to anyone in the world of college football who keeps up with college football, the vast majority of them not only believes that Georgia will beat Clemson, a lot of them believe that they will beat Clemson, if they're being honest, by more than 2 touchdowns. At least 2 touchdowns, but more than 2 touchdowns. And the question is why? Well, the why is actually, how can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? Now, let's pause there and let's look at the wording of the title, of the question that I've asked. How can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? You don't have to be Ernest Hemingway or Edgar Allan Poe to understand that just twisting some words around can change the entire intent, and even take a hopeless statement and turn it into hopeful. Well, in this scenario, I went with the more pessimistic route. I don't know. It's just the way I roll. How can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? Versus flipping the word around, how Clemson can beat the Georgia Bulldogs. Well, how can they? Well, it starts off with their offense looking absolutely nothing like it's looked like. How many times did I say like there? Over the past 3 seasons. Nothing. Nothing remotely even like it. Any good things that might come from the offense would be the run game. But as far as creativity, scheme, explosiveness, protecting the quarterback not staring down receivers or throwing into double and triple coverage, wide receivers who are wide open, catching the football. It doesn't matter if you have 500 yards of total offense in the game. If you didn't get the ball into the end zone, your entire scheme failed. That is how can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs. That's how. If you talk to Bulldog fans, a lot of them see the very things that I see. That Clemson's defense is that they're ready for this occasion. They're ready for this occasion, and the only way that you're going to see Clemson's defense fall apart in this game will be if the offense hangs them out to dry like they have the past 3 seasons. Remember the last time these two teams played. Pause there. Totally different personnel. Totally different coaching style. Both teams are on a totally different trajectory from just 3 years ago. So I know some Georgia fans are going to be lighting it up going, well, yes, you won 2 national championships in the past 3 years. That is impressive, okay? That is impressive. Clemson is farther removed from their national championships. You got me there. I'm admitting that. You don't even got me. I admitted it. But the problem here is that Georgia has continued to go up, and Clemson has continued to do this. 10-3, 10-3, 9-4. And all of it deals with the offense. The last time so going back to the initial statement, the last time Clemson and Georgia played, Georgia could not score a touchdown. well, JT Daniels was playing and it was his first game and everything. Yes, great, wonderful, wonderful. You still won a national championship this year. I mean, for me to be so pessimistic at times, I mean, at least be a little more joyful. My God, you won a national championship. What do you want me to do? Come down there and change your tires and, pressure wash your driveway? You won a national championship. But the truth is, that was who Kirby, the man who won those 2 national championships, that's who he believed was the better quarterback, and he went with it. And that's it. He went with JT Daniels. And you couldn't score a touchdown. That is a different team that Clemson's going to play now. Clemson's defense is still a really, really good defense, and y'all know it. Y'all have admitted it. How can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? Again, it will not be the defense's fault. I'll almost guarantee you that it will not be their fault if they were to lose the ball game. It will be the offenses. How can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? Explosiveness, great scheme, creativity, taking care of the football. I had someone reach out to me and said, hey, I watched your video and I feel like that you missed on the wide receivers. First, I can live with someone disagreeing with me. But I can tell you this, wide receivers who are wide open, dropping a football, when Cade gets the ball to them, that is on the wide receivers. And they did it all last season. We've seen a lack of fighting for the football over the past 3 years, 4 years possibly, but 3 years definitely. Clemson's wide receivers have to fight for the football. It's just like, and here's a great example. My 8-year-old, he's been playing flag football for a couple of years. And when we practice his receiving skills, I'll throw the football to him. And if the football's not right there at him, right in the breadbasket, he has to reach out here, and he misses it. He goes, yeah, you threw that outside. And I'm like, son, your job is to catch the football no matter where it's at. If it's over your head, adjust your body. If it's short, step up. If it's to the side, extend. Don't use your body to catch the football, use your hands. Of course, if the only way to catch the football is to corral it in with your arms and your body, go for it. But pal, you're going to have a lot more drops if that's the only way you learn how to catch football. That's an 8-year-old. These are 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys who's been playing football for many years, some of them highly recruited, and they're in major D1 college football. They have to catch football. Let's go back to scheme. How can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? The offensive scheme has to be creative. I have seen a lack of creativity. Pause there. What's the rebuttal to what I just said? They don't have the personnel to run it. I think that's an easy scapegoat. I think that's a really good excuse. Creative schemes supposed to take your personnel or lack of personnel and you create a creative scheme. You think outside of the box to work with your personnel. That is how we have all these different types of schemes, from the spread option that we saw with Chip Kelly, even the Nevada pistol. We've seen so many different looks, different motion and trickeration, if that's a word. What do we see with Clemson? Line up, throw a quick pass out there out in the flats. Well, scheme says that your wide receivers hadn't been able to block a gnat. So that's a dumb play. Don't do that anymore. I don't care if it is one of the flavors of the month currently in college football. If you have wide receivers out there who can throw a block and knock someone's helmet off, great. Run that play. But Clemson doesn't. So you got to scrap that one. It's just like Clemson. You pretty much, with the, and this is not on Maffa, this is on the offensive line. You can't line up head to head with Georgia and pound the ball right up the middle. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to get creative with it. And you can talk about your theory, your strategy, your whatever, but if you don't have the personnel to run a specific play, you take your scheme and you scheme for something else. You get creative. You can't become predictable, and that is the best. Two words that comes to mind when I think about Clemson's offense: predictable and a lack of creation. Or I say two words: predictable, and I'll offer you a phrase: uncreative, lack of creativity. There we go. Coffee's not working this morning, y'all. I just need more coffee. So how can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? It's going to be on the offense. And if you see Clemson come out and they look anything like they have over the past 3 years, the plays are manila. It looks like a local high school offensive coordinator is calling things. Georgia wins by 3 touchdowns plus. I've already given my prediction to this game. If you want to see that, go over to the couple of videos down. You'll see it. But that's how Clemson can beat Georgia. It will have to be a totally different offense. An offense that stretches the field. An offense that has some trick plays to it. An offense that tells them, look, we realize we're a 13.5-point underdog. So we actually planned for this game. We planned for this game. We said, you know what, guys, we have to pull out the kitchen sink on this one. We have to dust off some of the old plays that we haven't ran in a while, but won us a lot of games. We're going to at least go down fighting. We're at least going to make you go. Even if y'all beat us, the defense for Georgia walks out and goes, guys, I thought they were a bunch of losers. And this was like the 4th or 5th most important game we'd play all year, but this is Clemson's big game for the regular season. I thought that we were supposed to beat them by at least 2 touchdowns, if not more. What just happened? We got out by the skin of our teeth. Or if Clemson wins, what just happened? It will be because of the offense, folks. You can take this at the 13-minute mark of this video, and you can know that will be the difference. That Clemson's offense looks nothing like it's looked like over the past 3 years, and that they became creative. They had a scheme that made even the best defense sweat and question everything they know. But if Clemson's offense, and I've said this a lot because this is the key, how can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? If their offense looks anything remotely like it has for the past 3 years. I don't care how many of you Clemson good old boys who comes on here going, you've never coached before, never played before. Let the experts do what they do. If the experts are not experts enough to realize that they can't keep doing the same thing and get different results, maybe they're not experts. Maybe you're clouded by how much money they make and the job they have, when you should be looking at the results. 2018 is over 5 years removed from us this season. The championship, we're right at 6 years. 2016, we're almost a decade out. Some of you, you're terrible with a calendar. You're terrible with time. But you're really good at taking up for a system that is now failing us. So if Clemson beats Georgia, how can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? Totally revamping their offense. And this Saturday, in less than 2 days, or 2 days now, in 2 days, 12 o'clock, ABC in Atlanta, they show an about face offensively. Because if they don't, Georgia wins. And they win big, and it will not be our defense's fault. Folks, I can't speak this morning, but who cares? Let's get to the comment section. Stoopsified in here. Dogs rolling loud. Cha-cha. White Walker, love your videos. Keep the good work. My heart wants it to be 27-24 Georgia, but my head is saying 31-20 UGA. Army 3275. Let's go Clemson. Dean Wilson, it's time to change that narrative. Go Tigers. I agree with you. I agree with you, Dean. And the way they changed that narrative is not running the same type of offense over the past that they've been running for the past 3 years. That's how they do it. Douglas Spencer, good to see you, buddy. Clemson offense and Riley need to go after the win no matter what. We need to man up, get an attitude. I like it. Let me see. Bo Evil says, I don't buy it. Clemson can beat Georgia. It's game one. Anything can happen. I think it's more of a 50-60 game. History can repeat itself. David took Goliath out. Hey, I hope so. I hope so. Jonathan Benton, we got to score more points. That's all. Orange blooded. Let me see. Bland. That's right. Roger Brown. Facts. Wet Sox. Are you still considering doing a live event with fans? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm trying to figure out what would be a good night. I would like to do it at have an event at a restaurant that, everybody would like to come out to, but it would be an off night for the restaurant, meaning like something like a Tuesday night. It's not like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, somewhere in there, but an off night to where if I ask them, hey, could we hold this event here? Instead of renting out the place, you're open, but you really don't have the business. What's a slow night for you? Well, then I'll tell all my viewers, hey, this is the night, promote it, and get everybody there, and it would work out for everybody. So I'm taking ideas right now and trying to figure out what I'd like to do. But yeah, I'm highly considering it. Thomas Mills, hey Brian, ready for a good game this weekend? Yes, absolutely. Thomas Mills is a South Carolina native, went to Clemson. And now he and his wife are stationed in Germany. It's good to see you, my friend. Folks, leave me your comment. How can Clemson beat the Georgia Bulldogs? How can they do it? Give me a couple of details. Be a little more specific. I want to hear from you. You take care of yourself. And as always, go Tigers.